morning, judges. My name is Comfort. To my left is Chris. We are also covering for a member of our team, Nicole, who could not be here because of a health emergency. So we start off our presentation, and together we are the Fabulous Consultant. So our agenda for today, we'll start with an overview of the company, and we go into the analysis, all the analysis we've done regarding the company, and then we'll look at the alternative that we have selected and recommended for Spruceland, and then we will talk about the implementation, how long we anticipate that our alternative will be taken to be put in effect, and then we'll talk about how much all of this will cost. Okay, so this slide would be like our gap analysis, where we identify where Spruceland Properties is right now and where they want to go. So this is where they are. Their stocks are currently undervalued. They have an offer on the table to sell off 90% of their commercial assets, and the oil prices is going down, so the economy is slowing down. So our alternatives, how to get there, how to make their stock have a value again, is to consider the share buyback program, and then also to accept that offer already on the table, and then to reinvest the proceeds from the selling of their assets into capital and purchase undervalued assets because of the economy slowing down, and they can take advantage of that slowing economy and buy assets at a discount.
I'll be talking about the qualitative analysis. Our major strength lies in our conservative financial position, which will allow us to purchase discounted assets. Our major weakness is the overissuance of undervalued shares, and this presents a threat during our economic turndown. The socioeconomic analysis. Primarily, Spruceland Properties represents a social enterprise. The history behind the company stands from giving back to the community of Slave Lake. Over 75% of 300 shareholders reside in the Slave Lake region, and we would like to continue that. We would also like to promote economic local development through the share buyback program and the dividend reinvestment program. Lastly, our key success factors. There are 4 success factors. The first factor is cost. The ability to purchase discount assets represents a cost for the company. Quality. The quality resides in a conservative financial position. Timing. Now is the time for the company to restructure. With the offer on the table, we feel it is the right move. Lastly, innovation. Our share buyback program is an innovative way to increase the value of shares while also giving back to shareholders.
So these are our alternatives. We have chosen, based on our key success factors, we have chosen 3 alternatives that would suit Spruceland Properties. The first one is to restructure, which is to sell commercial asset commercial asset and then purchase asset at a discount because of the economic slowing down, and people would be selling off properties at a discount price. And then we also recommended to invest in the share buyback program, where they will call their shares back and also call them back at a book value to increase supply, to decrease supply, and then that would also create scarcity. And then we also, as an alternative to dissolve the company, which is to sell the properties and distribute the profits to the shareholders. We will not be recommending the dissolve alternatives. So based on our key success factors, the cost and efficiency, quality, time, innovation, the key success factors are the factors that need to be put in place for the business to be successful in the industry. So weighing it against the key success factors, we will only be accepting the alternatives that are the most positive and plausible, which will be the restructure and the share buyback program. We will not be recommending the solution because of the mission statement of Spruceland, which is to get the community members involved in the ownership of the business. So we will not be recommending that to them. So this is the implementation schedule. We will start it off first, 2016. We will start it off 2016 on February 29. Accept that offer on the table, which is to sell off 90% of the commercial assets. So that would be what we would start off with as And then on March 10th, we will announce the share buyback program at the AGM. And then in the next year, 2017, we will pay out the shares, to the shareholders, and then we will keep scanning the environment for opportunities to take advantage of the slowing economy, to see what assets are being offered for sale, what discounts we can get it for. And then by the fiscal year of 2017, we will analyze and reevaluate our plan and schedule and make adjustments and comment, see what's working, what is not working. So in the middle here, we will keep monitoring the environment. We will purchase discount assets, and this is all based on a 2-year time period.
All right, the costing of our plan. So after the sale and the share buyback program, our cash on hand will go up by 200%. We will use 34.9 million of that to fund the share buyback program. We will actually be purchasing 50% of all outstanding shares and distributing those profits to the shareholders. Our debt also decreases by 69% overall, and that represents a $6.1 million gain on the sale. That gain on the sale will increase the book value of our shares by 10%. Conclusion. So after a thorough analysis of the case, it came to mind after reading a press release that we located through Spruceland's announcements on their website that was given in December 16, 2015. And they have decided we are advising Spruceland to accept the offer of 93% shale, that is of commercial assets and manufactured home communities. That will generate a large amount of cash flow, approximately $69.5 million, half of which will go to the share buyback program, and the other half will be put back into the company for further reinvestment in discount properties. On a side note, we have also looked at the financials which we have in our appendices, and those financials suggest that we have $14 million of debt on properties versus $7 million of assets, but we'll have $51 million in cash. We can use that cash to pay down the debt on properties as much as we can without suffering a penalty. Of course, if you pay too much of a mortgage at once, you'll suffer from a penalty. So our goal is to bring down our debt, reinvest the money into new properties, and continue to support Spruceland Properties to remain solvent. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the judges now have 5 minutes to ask questions.
So, maybe I just wasn't listening very well, but the 34.9 million that you're going to use to repurchase stocks, that's coming from where?
That's coming from the 93% sale of commercial assets and manufactured home communities. That will generate cash of $69.5 million.
Okay, and what do you buy the shares back at?
We're spending $34.9 million to purchase the shares at $50.69 per share. That will represent a profit per share, I believe, of $23 per shareholder.
So once 90% of assets have been sold, what business are we in at that point?
Well, we still have $7 million in investment properties. We will also have a large amount of cash on hand. So the purpose of this proposal is to restructure the firm. And since the offer on the table is a valid offer, we also want to take advantage of that. With $51 million in cash, the board can decide to repurchase discounted properties because of the economic slowdown. The market values did decrease in February of 2016, and furthermore also to pay down debt.
So when you looked at sale of your own properties, did you look at you're selling into a fairly small market? This is still northern Alberta, for the sale of 51 million worth of properties. What's the normal turnover in that kind of market? Can the market absorb the sales in the time that you've got?
We do have an offer on the table from 2 independent buyers that are willing to pay us the price for those properties. So that will entirely be up to the company purchasing those off of us. Our goal to restructure is to find properties where we can
Just a little bit of a curveball out there. You've got quite a rapid transition, 93% of assets in terms of being sold, but it looks like your share price has been doing quite well, considering the market slowdown. From 2012 to 2015, you can see gains, strong dividends, and then you increase your shareholders. You guys don't seem to be taking a hit by the economy. Are you more worried that you think now's the time where there will be an economic impact to the company? Or do you think you can kind of put this out? Like, you definitely have identified that it's the gap in price, which is the key issue.
Well, considering that, in 2015, the liabilities to asset ratio was 48.5%. After the sale, that goes down to 26%. And then after the share buyback program, that jumps back up to 41%. So we are actually in a healthier position than we were originally in 2015. And that is how we can justify selling those assets.
On the sale buyback, most of the shares are held locally, not a huge number of shareholders. You set a price that you'll sell them at. Do you know that people will actually want to give them up?
Well, I read the
Right,
legislation.
I don't
Oh,
want to-
sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
I read the legislation from the government of Alberta, printed in 2000. Essentially, the company has all the power for the issue bid to set the price and determine who they can call the shares back from. Since 75% of 300 shareholders reside in the Slave Lake community, our goal is to buy back that other 25% of shares from residents not in the Slave Lake community, and then also buy back 25% within the Slave Lake community. Therefore, 100% of all equity in the company would reside still in the Slave Lake region.
And adding to that, this is because we want to respect Slave Lake's mission statement to get the community as involved in the ownership of the business as possible. So that's why we agreed that we will buy back those shares from outside of Slave Lake so that the ownership of the business resides in Slave Lake, so that we respect the mission statement.
Last question.
Okay, I've got a question about your implementation of the plan of repurchasing discounted properties for that last part of the plan. So kind of the same question, is the market big enough after the fact to buy enough back to get you to where you want to be on that back end?
Well, that will be something that the board will have to determine. They will have to first monitor the market and see which properties have decreased in value as a result of the economic slump, and if there's a chance to regain that value in those properties. Each property will have to be decided among the members of the board and carefully selected so that the return on investment will satisfy all shareholders. And if the pool is not large enough, we are still sitting on a large amount of cash on hand. So our other alternative would be to pay down our debt, which of $14 million, which would leave us with the leftover cash to decide to reinvest.